P6.
Brazy. Yeah. Looks like they back for a 5th season, man. Who that? Sports Roundtable. Who? SRT Crew. Whoa. SRT. They got that realness flowing in they DNA. Damn you lame if you ain't tuned to SRT today. HO got that payload when he say so. What you betting on? Don't get mad at me on fantasy. Break up Kyrie LeBron. I be smooth as sports superhero Hancock in the mix. Deal with roll tide forever. Real talk, you know who he gon' pick. See where I be with SRT. Behind the glass, that G Money. Made with a strong, I never lose. 6-man elite, that's J Smooth.
All you other sports radio shows is fake news. Believe it. Turn up your radios, cause it's time for SRT Radio. Yeah.
What up, what up, what up? It's Sports Roundtable, and we're live. We're live in our virtual studios overlooking the digital world. I am HO, your humble host from Bankhead, and as you can see, I got my glasses on today, and it looks like all three of us are in uniform with glasses on today, so hallelujah to that, and thanks for tuning in for another great episode of Sports Roundtable. As we're entering episode 427. Episode 427. Anybody out there that's doing numbers, 427 is your number tonight. So, yeah. Thank you. We got some very, very good stuff to talk about tonight. And obviously, before we even get into it, the Lakers just stole the news cycle.
By, 10 billion.
They just seem to take over the news the last couple months. Years, really. All years been Lakers.
Yeah, man. Ain't that something? The Lakers just done took over. Just took completely over. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. And for the last minute, I got E-Dub to come on to talk about the Lakers and the Hawks draft prospects for next week, as the draft is next Thursday. So we'll get E-Dub on and talk about, is it next Thursday or next Wednesday? Next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next Wednesday. So, but before we get started, I have a special birthday shout out to my best friend, my bestie. Her daughter birthday is today. So we want to wish a SRT shout out birthday to Jackie Renee.
Right.
Yes, shout out to Jackie Renee.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
I know, right?
One of the most soft-spoken young ladies that you ever want to meet. And if anybody ever try to cross her, they gonna have to see me. They got to see me. They got to see me and Shawty and Mr. Bankhead all at the same time. So just know. All right, the chat is filling up. I see we got Dez in there. Oh, look at the Alabama. All the way from Montgomery, Alabama. And we got a new listener in on the saying hello. All the way from all the way from Paulding County. Miss Yolanda is in the building. Fellas,
that's almost a Gump too.
Oh, yeah. For sure. So yeah, man, we filling up fast, and we got a very great show tonight. We got first of all, let's go ahead and jump in. D. Wheeler, Hancock, they're both Laker fans, and they're not here to talk about the Lakers. So I want to talk to you fellas about your thoughts on a $10 billion sale of the Lakers, but still holding Jimmy Buss in as the CEO. What's that about?
Can I go first on this one?
your name is Asa, so yeah, even with the alphabet, you always go first.
First and second, right? AB.
Yeah,
I just seen that come across the timeline, I guess about an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago. And the first thing that came to my mind is though when you get new ownership like that, they're about to make some changes as far as how you go about what they want to see as a team. So it'll be interesting to see. I talking about playing numbers. If I was a betting man, I would almost say LeBron will come out soon, before the season or whatever, after the draft or whatever, and say this is going to be his last year.
Yes, so
because I think with new ownership, take away the 2020 championship, which the Lakers didn't make no money off of that because it was, you got the championship, but you weren't able to capitalize on revenue, marketing, all those things that kind of come with that. And they are the Lakers. So the ticket sales wasn't going to change anyway. So that ring for them, it gives them another banner in there as far as, going head to head with Boston, but it didn't do anything for them. And since he's been in LA, let's be honest, outside of that, what has he done other than get put out a second round? So, they get to say, hey, he broke the scoring record in the Lakers uniform. They get to say he's played the most games in a Lakers uniform. Those are all things that they can hang on their obituary as the Lakers organization. But money wise, I don't, championship wise, he hasn't really, in my opinion, moved the needle for them. So I wouldn't be surprised new ownership's coming in and they'll be like, hey, we ready to turn the page with or without you. So how do you want to go out? You want to go out on your own? Does he want to be traded? But I think he would go ahead and do his victory tour this year now that the team has been sold to new ownership. Because Jenny Buss and the Buss family don't have any say so. These are corporate cats, you know what I mean? And so they play a different game. Now I could be wrong. They could say, let's squeeze another year or two out of this joke and see if he can get us play with his other boy. It could go that route, but I don't think so. I think the fan base won't go for it. I think he's been there so long now. LeBron has been in the game so long now. He's starting to drown out. You know what I mean? He's not. Yeah. It's not good. So that would be my opinion. That would be what I would put if Vegas was like, what was the three things that are going to happen? To me, it would be like LeBron James will be announcing his retirement, and this is his last year, which is what would be the 23rd year. So,
yes.
All right, Coles, what you got?
It's over. It's over. They started selling off different things. It's over for LeBron. I mean, what? I mean, I just want to just ask the question of him, LeBron. What else you got to do? Your son in the league. You got this title. You got that title. You did this. You ain't got nothing left to prove. Really, nothing. You can't climb no more mountains other than you played the longest, and you have a great beard, and you got gray hair. And other than that, nothing. And that bubble championship, I still can't count that. I'm sorry. People count it. I don't. That was real ridiculous. But hey,
Coach say you don't count the bubble championship.
No, I don't give him no credit for the bubble. But hey, he won, so he counted. Mm-hmm. So I guess he won. Got it going. So anyway,
right. There's your answer to the Gump.
Not much on the Gump.
Yeah. Right. So all right, well.
What do you think, H.O.?
I think they gonna figure out a way to bring Magic Johnson back into the fold. To be honest with and if Magic Johnson come back into the fold, then yeah, it may be over for LeBron, because I think Magic want to go ahead and get Luka tied up and tied in. So yeah, I think they and the guy Mark, what's his name? Mark Walters has ties with the Dodgers and a whole bunch of other places. So him and Magic already have a working relationship.
See, they about winning championships, right? The Dodgers are in the thick of things. Have been in the thick of things the last 5-6 seasons, right? Even through COVID. So you got Luka at his prime. I don't need this arbitrage of LeBron hanging around the Lakers, and that's just what it is at this point. He's an albatross hanging around the necks of them right now, and so I just think it's one or two questions are going to get asked of him. You want to get traded, and I don't think the trade market is all that big. I think the trade market is probably the same. I don't think he will demand as much as people would think he would demand. It's kind of the same scenario you might see with KD. Hell, I think it might be less than what listen. If you trade LeBron, and now if trading LeBron this year, and you think that he would get what Memphis got for Bane, you're crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not going to happen now. So I don't know what would be worth a hit to his ego. Him, the Lakers trading him, and they only being able to get a couple of players, or just letting him walk on his own.
Would it be a surprise if they trade him?
I don't think they would want to trade him. I think the Lakers also want to come out looking like they don't have anything to do with this on the back end. So they would rather him make the announcement that he's retiring, or they would rather him come out publicly and ask for a trade.
He gonna, when he retire, he's gonna come out with a public announcement, because he got to soak in all the last times at each stadium. He got to soak it in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say I don't think the Lakers would publicly say we're looking to trade LeBron. I think it would be LeBron coming out and requesting a trade, or coming out publicly saying that this is his last year. One of the two. I don't think it would be the Lakers saying, "Hey, who wants LeBron?" I don't think that they would, even though behind the scenes that's what they would be saying. But I don't think they would come out publicly and say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Milwaukee, right? You hear about Milwaukee, right? Everybody's talking about where Giannis is going to go, but Milwaukee hasn't said that they want to trade Giannis, even though we probably know Milwaukee wants to trade Giannis. You know what I mean? They're not going to say that because it's still a PR game. They still got to sell tickets to their fan base. They got to still come out to be like, hey, we didn't trade him.
Right.
He wanted to leave.
All right. With that being said, fellas, let's go ahead and let's officially jump into our hot news. And the hot news sponsored by Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road. Big Easy Grill, the best Louisiana seafood spot in town, in the South, in the region. It's just good. So go over to 1193 Collier Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Big Easy Grill. Make sure you get some shrimp, crab claws,
No.
catfish nuggets,
Yes.
and shrimp po' boy.
No.
and the beignets for Coach.
And boudin. Get some old boudin, some red beans and rice, and some catfish. Yeah.
Absolutely. And make sure you mention Sports Roundtable SRT. Get your 10% off any meals $25 or more.
Now, Joe, quick question. On the red beans and rice, do they put them peppers all in and everything?
You can ask for them.
I don't want them. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them from the beginning.
No, they just come with the red beans and just the rice.
Red beans and rice. That's all I want, with some There was some boudin.
You want the tomato paste in there, Coach?
Yeah, you can put that in there. I just don't like all them peppers and stuff. I ain't a pepper fan.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Onions, all that stuff. They try to slide it in there. Well, y'all know what's gonna happen. They try to slide it in there.
Well, Coach, the little birdie just told me, if you go ahead and get well, you can come and see for yourself.
Well, if that little birdie want his wings, you better be careful. You better
I
be
know.
careful.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The back-to-back champs, and I know, Coach, this ain't going to be one of your favorite segments, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And let me just preface by this. I think that Asa is probably our resident hockey guy since they talk about hockey on Monday night. A hat trick in the Stanley Cup. Could that
More
be
than
one
hat
of
trick,
the
4.
hardest?
Yeah, he went. He
Well, I
went
know,
berserk.
but everybody understand hat trick, even though he
Yeah.
scored 4 goals. But is that one of the hardest to do in an elimination game than any other sport? And how has the U.S. taken over a game that was created for outside of the U.S. to dominate? And for the last, is it 7 years now? Is that this make the 8th year that
No. They ain't a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup in almost 30 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about 7 or 8 years. It's been 30.
It's been since I want to say 96.
Yeah, let me go ahead and look that one up. But go ahead and talk about the back-to-back Florida Panthers and how they have found a way to win back-to-back in one of the hardest.
So there's a couple of things that you mentioned, and then I kind of break it all down to your point. I've been following hockey kind of hard the last 4 or 5 years or whatever. One, the Americans have taken over because we spend the money. Plain and simple. Let's just start there, right? Now, the people that are running it, a lot of times aren't American, but and your players may be from a coalition of places, Canada, European, and then some American born or whatever. But the people running it for the most part aren't, are your traditional people from traditional areas that hockey is their thing. But American sports owners and whatnot pour the money and the resources. So that's the one thing why America has taken over it. And taking over it so hard now that you got southern and naturally warm regions that are powerhouses. Florida has the Lord Stanley Cup has been in Florida for the last 6 years between Tampa and Tampa Bay Lightning and now the Florida Panthers. And then it went out to Vegas for a year.
Let me run it down for you. Florida Panthers, 25, 24, Vegas, 23, Colorado, 22, Tampa, 21, Tampa, 20, St. Louis, 19, Washington, 18, Pittsburgh, 17. So outside of the main U.S., it's been a long time.
Yeah, the Habs. The Canadians won it in 93.
93. So yeah, 30.
Wow. Then we got the Blackhawks in 25, the Kings in 14, the Blackhawks again in 13, the Kings in 12.
We got Carolina Hurricane,
Pittsburgh in 9, 08 Detroit, 07 Anaheim, 06 Carolina,
Yep.
and 04 Tampa. Whew, boy.
But hey,
so fella, I'm just saying it's been a dominant, just like Marlon said. Let me go. There we go. Americans will always find a way to dominate. no matter what
yeah,
sport it is. And
They're gonna
I
spend
have
the
a
money,
whole heart-
baby. We gonna spend the money.
The Canadians used to run hockey though. Back in the
Yeah.
days, in the 80s, and they used to run hockey. But
They ain't spending the money
So
though.
tell
They're
me,
not.
fella, what changed though? Like what actually happened for all of these? Did you hear that list? It was nothing but Midwest, and then the South jumped in there. Then we went out west with the Kings in Las Vegas. I mean, it's just been. I mean, are they still mad about the Olympic fight with the
No,
Russians?
I think it started with Gretzky leaving and going to the LA Kings and making American teams legit. I think it started there.
Okay, I can see that.
Going out west and making these expansion teams and expansion areas. I think it made it legit. It made it, LA again, the LA Kings. Only reason why people initially knew about the LA Kings was because of NWA, because they were wearing their hats in the video. Most people didn't know the Kings had a hockey team. We did, other than Eazy and Dr. Dre. So you look at your greatest ambassador going out west and bringing on an expansion team in an area in a market that did not know anything about hockey, and then being successful. What do we know about sports, HO and Coach? It's a copycat league, right? That's what they say about football, and basketball is a copycat league. So if something works, everybody's gonna try it. And so,
all right. Go ahead.
So I think that's where it started. From Coach said the 80s was all the Canadian teams. I think when your greatest ambassador goes somewhere and becomes successful, you open the door.
Do you think it was when the Americans start to draft like a Mario Lemieux for Pittsburgh, and who else did they get? Washington got what was his name in Washington? The Caps, who just broke the record.
Oh, we're talking about
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin.
So was it when the Americans start to dip into the I can get me a high draft pick and get the best player available, and then they start to take hockey a little serious?
I want to go back to the greatest ambassador going to the Kings, and then you had teams in America started building up to try to beat him. So at that same time, you had the Rangers building a team to compete and win championships. You know what I mean? You had your Pittsburghs building teams, sustainable teams to win championships, because now you got a guy who was a Canadian guy come into, again, we all want to admit, Americans, we are egotistical, aren't we? So you got a Canadian guy gonna come out west in the land of palm trees, where you put ice outside for 5 minutes, it's going to melt, and he's winning out there. It's bad enough you were winning in Canada. Okay, we can accept that, but you're not going to come into our country and dominate us. You know what I mean? In a market that's never had hockey.
All right, here's the question of the night, though. Atlanta just approved a community to build I think it's a $3.8 billion community, just like the Battery, for another hockey team for the third time. Would third time be a charm for Atlanta to get a hockey team?
I want to know who's running it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta get some knowledgeable people in there to know how to run the franchise.
So what has it been, ownership that's been the failure of a hockey team that's been here, or just a lack of support?
Combination of both, but I think if you win, anybody's gonna come. But if you ain't winning, I'm not coming. So the two organizations that were here that left. Obviously, the Thrashers recently, and they went to Winnipeg, so it's the Winnipeg Jets. And then the other team is the Calgary Flames. So, and if you were going through that list, HO, with the Calgary Flames, I think they made a Stanley Cup final about 7 years ago or so. It's been recently, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then the Winnipeg Jets had a pretty good year this year. So, so it's all about people will come see you if you're good. The nostalgia might last for about a year or two, and then by year 3, if you're not good, why should I go?
Okay, here we go. Let me read it for you. Atlanta has Atlanta is actively pursuing an NHL expansion with multiple ownership groups vying to bring the team back to Atlanta. A key development in the proposed $3 billion spot called The Gathering at South Forsyth includes a 18,000-seat NHL arena. Could this be the thing that Atlanta, well, not Atlanta, but, well, I guess you would call it Atlanta, but could this be the thing that can bring hockey back to Atlanta by not being downtown, I guess, because the location would be, are they saying that they have more support in South Forsyth and they didn't get the support downtown? Or what are we saying with that?
It's hard to get downtown. I mean, you kind of you. So again, you're for them and their marketing and what they're saying is the people that will come and spend tickets and frequent the game, is easier for them to, if they're going to have to drive, which you're going to have to drive regardless, it's easier for them to drive and be on their part of town than it is to come downtown and have to pay all the extra money, all the inconvenience it will cause to get down to a stadium downtown. Where then if I have it up there in South Forsyth County area, I can control everything. I can control the parking. If you park and pay one time, then your eatery is there. You park and you walk. So I'll control all aspects of your evening if you come to a game at this particular location. Whereas if you come downtown, the only thing you're going to do downtown is go to the game and leave out. You're not going to probably take on a restaurant or whatever the case may be. You're not going to do that. You're not going to jump on the train and come down there. You're not going to do that. So let me create an environment in which you will come, park your car, walk, spend money, and catch a game. Is what they're doing. It's what they're saying.
Yep, and Maurice makes a good point. You don't have to share a space with the Atlanta Hawks.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
18,000. I can now in the off season have concerts. I can sell out an 18,000 concert, a country concert or a pop concert. I can sell that out. At the arena, I got to sell out 80,000 concert. It's much harder. You know what I mean? It's much harder to do that to sell out at the State Farm Arena than it is to sell out at whatever they're about to build out there in Forsyth County.
Yeah. The gathering spot is what they call it. So I guess it'd be called the Gathering Arena.
Nah, it's going. It'll be some corporate companies going to have their name on it. That'll be interesting to see who it is.
All right, for sure. All right, fellas, we still got more to come on the hot.
Oh, and one more thing, HO, with that location, they won't be, believe it or not, they won't be as far from the from the minor league team that's in Gwinnett. That Gwinnett area, you know, it may seem for people who are not here, not from Atlanta, you know, that part of Forsyth is, you know, not really far from the Gwinnett County. So, you know, now we have a minor league team and now we have a professional team. So, in the same kind of area. So
Now,
they've done their homework.
Just as a tidbit, I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but all of Atlanta Braves farm teams are now in Georgia.
Yep.
They
took
Macon,
one from Mississippi.
Macon, Rome, and now Augusta.
Yeah, they had one in Pearl, Mississippi.
And Gwinnett. Macon, Rome, Gwinnett, and Augusta. So all the way down from single A all the way to the big leagues, and the Braves got their farm system in the state of Georgia.
That's good.
I guess take a hockey team trying to take a little something out their book. All right, let's jump into NBA. Game 7 or no? Halliburton is a game time decision. Let me just go ahead and give it to you like this. They came out with this calf injury, so everybody can put their money on OKC to finish it off. Please don't get fooled by that. Everybody go put their money on OKC because he is either 80% or a game time decision. And he's coming off a 4-point performance in game 5. So everybody go put their load the mortgage up to say that OKC will go ahead and finish him off in Indiana in game 6. But do not be fooled. This is how Las Vegas continues to build hotels and casinos in Las Vegas.
Man, I've been so wrong. I'm not going to be wrong about who's going to win this series. I had Oklahoma in 5, but I've been wrong about obviously there's in 6 now, and game. And I'm with you, Ho. I think it's going to wind up being a game 7. Because the role players play better at home, and to your point, everybody and their mama is going to put the money on OKC winning in 6. And so, like you said, this is how they keep the money flowing in Vegas. And so somehow, some way, Indiana's going to win game 6.
Yeah. All right, Coach, what you got?
I want to go on and say OKC, but stuff happens. The next thing you know, I would hope that OKC go ahead and take care of business. All that, well, we got a game at home. You don't take a chance on going back home and playing game 7. No, you don't do that. You go ahead. You can celebrate when you get back home. Now you go on and bust Indiana in the mouth and let them know they made a mistake. And that was one of the rare mistakes by Rick Carlisle. Gonna bust them in the mouth and come out third and then put them away. And then have your celebration in the locker room, then go back home and party all day. But you don't want to go back to game 7. You don't want that. Anything happen.
I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you, Coach. My heart, like I said, I've been wrong this whole series about how I thought it was going to play out. I thought OKC was going to win it in 5 after losing game 1. But my common sense in me is telling me OKC should win game 6 and close this thing out. But to HO's point, is telling me that somehow, some way, Indiana's going to win this game and take it to 7. So, you know, we'll see. This is the one game where I've been, like I said, I've been wrong the whole series. So I'm I'm just hoping it's a good game and it's not a blowout.
If you don't think the NBA is best for the NBA to have Game 7, then you fooling yourself.
Exactly. But I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you. They should be able to come in and take business, especially if Halliburton is not at 100% or may not be playing at all. But because it's at home, and because your role players play, and because if they don't play him, you're going to see a lineup that you're not used to as far as OKC is concerned, and how would they be able to adjust that might play to Indiana's favor for one game. And then the extra rest might be able to bring Halliburton back for Game 7. So I don't know. Like I said, Coach, I'm with you. My common sense say OKC should come in there and take care of business and close this thing out and follow the path of the NHL and end this thing in 6. But HO's point, follow the money, and that's what I usually do. It is telling me
follow the money.
It's telling me Game 7 is where you need to go.
Yeah, follow the money for sure. We got E-Dub coming on about 7:45, so we'll talk about the Lakers and what his thoughts on this. KD on the move, possibly. And rumor has it that Devin Booker is will be offered $150 million for 2 years extension. That's $75 million a year, and that's showing dedication to their franchise player and moving on from Durant, if they move on from Durant. Your thoughts on Durant moving on and where's the best spot for him, and would you pay Devin Booker $150 million for 2 years? Trey, you in Arizona. I'm sure you got something to say about that, but go ahead, fellas.
Whew, no, I mean, listen, they couldn't even make was Devin Booker hurt this past year?
No.
And what they just giving Beal away? Don't they gotta still pay Beal? Or they still paying Beal?
Beal said he got a no trade clause.
I mean, you couldn't do it with 3 guys and get to the 7th seed. I don't know how you're gonna do it with 2 guys if you're paying all your money to 2 guys. I don't listen. Phoenix messed up when they let who was the head coach? The brother who his wife died.
You talking about
Monty Williams?
Yeah. When that new ownership came in and was like, you know what, we gonna take Andre Dayton. We're gonna ride with Dayton and over Monty Williams, and not even a year later, they were trading Dayton to Andre Dayton to Portland and gave Monty a raw deal after he had already taken y'all to a finals. I mean, he almost kind of say it was similar to kind of what Coach said the Knicks did to Thibs. You don't get rid of a coach who just took you somewhere where you ain't been in 30 years. So it don't. All the moves sound bad. I feel like KD is limited to going to 2 places to make a difference if he wants to, quote unquote, win another ring. Either go to Denver or go to San Antonio. Anywhere else he goes, he might as well stay in Phoenix. In my opinion,
is KD still a number 1 option?
No, that's I don't think so.
What?
No,
you don't?
No, I think KD is a lesser version of LeBron as far as impact on the game. He's a sniper now. He's a bucket getter, but he should not be your number 1 option.
So if he goes to the Heat, he's not the number 1?
If he goes to the Heat, he might as well stay in Phoenix. They got the exact same team. You try to tell me Tyler Hero, Bam, and him or any different than him, Booker, and Beal?
So basically, Asa, you disagree with what I said.
Yeah, listen, my mama taught me well. She just said don't go in the water just because somebody else in there swimming.
That's all right. You can't swim.
I can swim. I just know sometimes there's sharks in there. So let me stay out there. You know, let me stay out of it. So no. If he wants to win a ring, coach, if he wants to win a ring, to me, there's only two places that he can go, maybe three, but two would be a good chance to win the ring. Ain't nothing guaranteed. Go to San Antonio, where you gotta hear me out though.
They're putting Castle in the trade. Nope.
Well, I mean, you got a young point guard in Fox. He scores. You got a dominant big in Wemby. And then only thing you need is, to your point, you need a consistent bucket, right? KD will give you a consistent bucket. You need 3 buckets in a row to end the game. That's KD. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. He becomes the Ray Allen of our generation in that aspect. Or you go to Denver, where you got another solid big in Joke, and a feasible, a top end point guard in Jamal. And if you need a bucket, mid range to 3-pointer, KD's that guy, because Michael Porter Jr. ain't giving you nothing. You know what I mean? He's not giving you anything consistently.
So you gonna let him go there with his buddy Westbrook?
Westbrook about to be out of there. Westbrook, and that's my point. Westbrook is not a consistent bucket.
Westbrook gonna re-sign. I think he just trying to get a little more money. He gonna re-sign.
Well, if he re-signs, then no. If he re-signs, then no, he don't go there. And then maybe okay. And then say Westbrook re-signs, then no, I don't send KD back there, because you know what I mean, for all the off the court stuff that can, whatever. Then the only other place I could see KD going to, which he already said no to this, is him going back to Golden State.
So is KD and LeBron on the same page as far as going to different teams instead of staying with the one?
I'm just saying, for KD, if he's going to, if his purpose for leaving Phoenix is to go somewhere to have his best chance of winning a championship,
right?
San Antonio and Denver are the two places I would go. I forgot about Westbrook, but I don't know if Westbrook's going to re-sign. That's a good point you brought up. If Westbrook re-signs, then no, KD doesn't go there. He shouldn't go there. If Westbrook doesn't re-sign, then yes, he should go there. Wherever KD goes to, as far as his chance of possibly winning a championship, I think he needs to be the third option. There needs to be a dominant. There needs to be a top end point guard, a dominant big, and then him.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio and Denver fits those check boxes. I mentioned Golden State.
New York don't want him no more.
Well, New York can't want him because they don't got a coach. I don't know who's going to be the coach.
Yeah,
we talked about that last week.
I mean, if I knew who the coach was, then maybe New York is on the board. But I can't take him now without knowing who the coach is. They still got to be a system in place. But in Phoenix,
Cuz said KD ring chasing. Is that a thing still these days?
somebody said it ain't, but I know you gonna go there.
Yeah. I don't think the one who said ain't got much to stand on as far as that statement. He been trying to get past 6 ever since he got into the league.
Yeah.
When you bring that up, I got my comments on that HO.
All right, I'm gonna wait till E-Dub come on and bring that up. I'm gonna wait down to the round table discussion. So yeah, he said
So
he'll
where
be
you
on
think?
it.
So where you think KD should go, HO?
I mean, San Antonio would be the ideal spot. Yeah, yeah, San Antonio.
I think San Antonio is the best spot. And you gotta, he's not the coach anymore with Pop, but you gotta, president GM who knows how to team build, right? So he'll be able to put those 1 or 2 players in that's going to complement Wemby and complement KD. He'll know how to pick. It might be some European dude, but it's going to be somebody that's going to complement that style of play. If KD's looking to
could a Wemby and KD play together? See, that's the question you got to ask.
Yeah, that's a nice little insight.
Yeah. Exactly. Like Wemby shoots the 3 at a high level too. So I mean, it's like you don't like whenever we talk about LeBron, right? Who's going to fit around LeBron? We always say you can't really you don't want to have too many people that clog the paint, right? Because LeBron likes to, in his younger days, his thing was to get to the hoop. Now in his older years, he's becoming a jump shooter, more of a jump shooter, not going to the cup as much. But with Wemby and KD
Awesome.
on the same team, man, how do you defend that? Because if, like Coach said, if Wemby will bring your big out, because Wemby can shoot from deep or can shoot from free throw line out. You ain't blocking that shot, but you got to come out there and kind of contest. And now I'm going to have, if KD slides to the elbow and below, people forget KD's still 7 feet. So it's a mismatch there too. And KD he got a mid-range.
Yeah.
So
right.
You know what I mean? How you gonna defend all 14 feet of that?
Let me bring somebody on who has way more knowledge than we have that can answer this question way better than we can. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, Mr. E-Dub is in the building doing the Hawks Report. Thank you for the last minute, man. I was just like, you know what? We got the NBA draft next week. I don't want to bother you with that. And let me see. Maurice had a comment. He said, unfortunately, Durant would just be hurt most of the time. All right, so real quickly, Doug, let me catch you up. We talking about now, where would KD go if he's moved, and if you would pay Book $150 million extension for 2 years? That's the question.
As far as KD, I mean, San Antonio isn't very intriguing. I mean, how can you not want to go play with Wemby? Like, that boy, it's about to be overdrive for him. Right. I think that would be fun to watch as a fan. As far as Book's concerned, yeah, I would get Book the bread. I would get him the bread. You got to figure a way you got to figure out a way how to get Beal up out of there. But like, Book's the guy you can build around. He's still relatively young, so like everyone's getting paid. Even if you do give him the bread, I mean, you can still trade him. I mean, anything's possible in the league. I mean, Luka Doncic got traded. So, like, go ahead and pay Book. Let him be your foundation. And I think you'll be fine.
And E-Dub, first of all, before we get into anything else, we recognize your pretty microphone, but did you speak to the rest of the crew, sir? Huh? Did you? See, I got this.
I gave a salute,
like
you know. I gave a salute. The salute was to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get my shoes off. I can't even get my shoes off. HO threw me 3 questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm trying to knock him out the park before I come in here.
All right, so
good afternoon, gentlemen. How we doing?
What's that?
What's going on here? You good, baby? Don't let Coach get on you, man. You good?
Hey,
it's all good, man. I know how Coach get down with the good down, man. It's all good.
Yeah. So real quick, let's go ahead and jump into this Hawks stuff. The Hawks actually promoted assistant GM to the GM, from what I hear. Onsa or whatever his name is, I can't even remember. But then they hired 2 guys one guy from the Pelicans and another guy from the Sixers as a senior vice president for player operation, and then another guy for analytics or something like that. Tell me what is the front office looking like today going into the draft this next week, and do you actually trust that?
I mean, they bring the guys over from, I believe it was from New Orleans, and I think the other guy was from Philly. I think they're just restructuring what that front office brain trust is going to look like. I firmly believe that Ansi is probably just going to be the guy. He's probably just going to be. They said that they were still looking for like a VP, you know, according to Lauren Williams of the AJC, but it would be hard for me to believe that they're going to bring in somebody 5 days before the draft or even after the draft, or a situation where you hired all these guys and now you're going to have another guy come in there and like manage it. Like, that sounds kind of silly to me. So I think Anzi's going to be the guy. I think that these 2 guys that came in, from what I hear, they're smart guys with pedigree that know what they're doing. The Pelicans have a pretty decent draft history. Another guy's the analytics guy. So it just seems like they're just trying to have more smarter guys into the room with helping making decisions. But it seems like Anzi's going to be the guy, and we'll see what it looks like after that.
So E-Dub, I'm going to say something I know is not true. Do any of those guys have connection to Danny Ferry?
I don't know, man. Listen, man, after you've been in the league for as long as Ferry and some of these guys, man, they're all connected. You know what I mean? They're all connected in one way or another, brother.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you what most people want to clear up. What is the difference between a GM and a president of player operation? Like who has the trump card? Who works for who?
Well, I mean, initially they said that they were looking for a VP of basketball operations, which in theory would be the top guy. That would be who Ansi would report to, but they haven't hired said guy. They've hired mid-level guys, and the 2 guys that they've hired, according to the press release, they're going to be under Ansi. So they haven't hired anyone above Ansi yet. So every organization is different, and they all have these fancy titles, you know what I'm saying? But like, you kind of know who the head guy is, you know? So for the time being, it's Ansi. If they bring in another VP later on, that'll be the guy.
So what you're saying is Danny Ferry out and Kevin Booth, are they both out now? I
don't think that those 2 are going to be in the mix. I mean, I just highly doubt. Like, I heard some rumors way back about those names, but I just don't think that it'll happen. I don't.
All right. So another rumor has, before we get into the draft prospects, is the Hawks has worked out one of my guys, Kaman Maluwatch for Duke, 7'2", 7'2" guy from Sudan, connection with Luol Deng. How I run it, but They say he had a workout with the Hawks. How true is the command workout?
Yeah, I heard that the Hawks worked him out as well. I mean, this time of year, like everyone's going to get a workout for the most part, you know, and so it's very a lot of reports have been out there that the Hawks are very interested in drafting a big. He is a big, and so you know, it's going to be interesting to see if he's still around even at 13. I think he would fit in good here in Atlanta. Yeah, so like I mean, they did draft. I mean, they did work him out. He's a guy that I like. Has a lot of good measurables. You know, man, we'll see. But they worked out a ton of guys.
Okay. Would you be inclined to move up to get a common, even in the top 10 if you had to?
Nah, I wouldn't. I'm not and not in this draft, because the value of guys from like 8 to 22 is relatively so close in my estimation. It just like it depends on like what assets am I giving up, right? I'm not going to give up a Kobe Buffkin or anything of value to move up into the top 10 for a guy who's probably not even going to be a rotational player this year. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't do it because like I don't want to give up any assets. And I think that you can still have just as good value at 13 and at 22. So like but like if there's a guy that you want, like I'm a firm believer in going after your guy. So like if there's a guy they love, maybe you can get to maybe like 9 or 8. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of moving up in this draft per se.
If
is Capella?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead, Coach. Yeah.
Yeah, is Capella a Lake after this year?
I can see LA being a great spot for Clint Capella, man. Like he still has a little bit of juice in the tank. Not like he's got like backup juice in the tank, right? So, I mean, there's still a good skill set there for him. He's still a good rebounder. I mean, he's a guy that can get you maybe 10, 15 minutes a night, and that's perfect for him, you know? So go out there to LA, get you some sunshine, get you some of that LeBron James money. You'll be fine. I hope he does well wherever he goes.
E-Dub, my question for you. I got a question for you. And H.O., you probably like, Ace, you ask this all the time. But I don't know what Atlanta is trying to do. What are they trying to build? Help me understand. Like, it seems like every 2 years they're like, you know what? You know, we tried this Golden State thing that didn't work. And, you know, and then we were kind of in, you know, not sure what we wanted to do with Trey or whatever. And then now all of a sudden we're going to try this European look now. You know, I mean, some of that is, you know, we got the number 1 pick and that's who was there. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm like this with almost all our Atlanta franchises at this moment. I don't know what we want to be. You know what I mean? So I'm just not picking on the Hawks. But since we talk about basketball, what are the Hawks trying to be? Do you have an idea? Maybe my eyes just don't see it. Can you tell me what they're trying to be?
I think it'll be clearer once they ink Trey his extension. Because if they get that extension done, that will be a firm proclamation that Trey is our guy for at least the next 4 years, and we're going to continue to build this thing around him. We want to surround him with long, athletic guys who can shoot and who can defend. Right now, they are at a premium for shooting. They need more shooting, and they need more guys who can defend. Like 2 things that they need. They really just need more of them. So whether you do that through the draft or whether you do that through free agency, that's what you want. Like the core 5 that they have is who they would like to roll with. You know, you have Dyson, who worked so much better with Trey than DeJounte. The Zachary Risache kid really was above the clip for a lot of people's expectations last year. Jalen Johnson was a 20-10-5 guy before he got hurt. And Onyeka Okongwu was the perfect complement to Jalen. So that 5 is their nucleus. Now, if they want to be a playoff team, they're going to have to address 6 through 10. All right. And so in keeping perspective, they're going to try to win games next year. That's why the draft, like you have to kind of keep the draft in perspective, because there's not a guy that's going to come in there and be an everyday rotational player if everyone stays healthy. So they just need to get better from the 6 to 10 because their 5 is straight. But to answer your question, they want, and I think they're going to give Trey his bread, but they want to surround Trey with shooting and long, lanky guys like Risa Shea, like Jalen Johnson, who can defend and do a plethora of things. That's who I think that they're trying to be.
Okay. No. Hey, if they stay with the 5, then okay, then I'm good. Now, to your point, let's build off that 5. To your point, okay. The last few years, that 5 hasn't been. You brought DeJounte Murray and you threw away. You know, not want to say throw away, but you gave away picks, and then you wind up having to have it. It seemed like it was for a couple of years. Didn't nobody know who team it was per se. We didn't know if it was DeJounte Murray's team or it was Trey's team, and then it just seems to be a lot of confusion for me looking of what the identity of the team is going to be.
Yeah, they did in essence a soft reset, right? They did a soft reset. That's pretty much where you reset, but you don't really blow everything to smithereens, right? Because remember, you've been covering it. You remember the old core with Cam Reddish, with DeAndre Hunter, with John Hunter. Mm-hmm. That was the core. That was the young core they had before, and it was like, okay, yeah. And then you're like,
but that was defense. But that was defensive minded. I knew with that core, it was going to be. You know what? We're not going to give up 90 points a night.
And then you ran into Miami, and you're like, oh crap, we need a star. We need another guy. And so you rolled the dice on DeJounte. That's why I'm kind of like easy on them for the DeJounte. Like I know you gave up a lot, but like you had to make a move, and they made a move. If you crap out, you crap out. But at least they made a move, right? They made a move. They crapped out. It didn't work, right? So they was able to get off of DeJounte, ended up getting a better player in return, which is like you went from crapping out to rolling a 7 because Dyson Daniels is the best perimeter defender in the league. Like he is as good as advertised. And so now you have a new young core, and Trey, obviously he loves Snyder. He loves Atlanta. Y'all just got to figure out the money. Like, and
they need to put they need to put you on a major PR, E-Dub, because you just sold me back to him. Because you need to put you.
Hey, I'll drop my cash app in the thing. They can get at me. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Hey, so the question is this though, since you said that, is the front office that we just talked about, are they Trey fans or are they anti-Trey?
I don't know. We'll find out when that contract comes to fruition. I think that it would be in the team's best interest to keep him. I don't think the market is as robust for Trey as people would probably think. You look at there's a lot of good point guards out there, right? And so they're obviously not looking for point guards. There's a lot of teams who can't afford a point guard, right? And then there's just some teams that probably wouldn't be a good fit. And so once you put all those things into tuition, it's like who has the assets to really get them? Now you're really looking at like not that many people not many teams that have the assets to get off of, because you just saw Desmond Bane go for 4 first rounders. Your boy from New York went for like 5 first rounders. So the asking price is not going to be cheap if you decide to move off of Trey. And so it's probably in your best effort to go ahead and just give him the bread. Hopefully you can give him a 4-year deal instead of a 5-year deal, max him out. You got to try to figure out the money. You know what I'm saying? If you can figure out the money, it's probably in your best interest just to keep him around.
Hey, E-Dub and H.O., I think what you're seeing now with the league for the next few years is going to be an emphasis on team building from within the draft, and kind of like what E-Dub just said, making smart moves as far as if you have to go get someone in a trade. I think the era of Big Three, I think that is officially done, especially with OKC and Indiana making the finals this year. I think I think you'll have, and Minnesota and New York making that swap, and that's pretty much all they did, and getting as far as those 2 franchises did. But I think for now the the internal players building their own teams or their big threes. I think that era is over.
It might be. It might be because there's so much money at stake now, and so like you can pay a big three, but I mean, you're the other two probably gonna be Asa and Edwin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We be looking like Phoenix. I got 3 guys, all of them making $1 billion, and I'm the 9th seed in the West.
Absolutely.
But Asa,
Yes,
did you hear
sir.
what you just said? You said
Yes,
you said, huh?
no. Go
You
ahead. What
said
did I just say?
You said E-Dub and H.O. And then you start talking about your point.
He said he may put him on the team.
You see this? I have to keep this to remind you things that happen at any time.
See, E-Dub, don't feel bad. I get it all the time. You just came in and got it. I get it the whole show. So you
anytime.
At least you're not getting shanked, E-Dub.
All right, E-Dub, moving off the Hawks real quick. What did you think about when you found out that the Lakers sold for $10 billion today? And what does that actually mean?
Money, man. You know what I'm saying? Like America, you know what I'm saying? That Don King, you know what I mean? Like, everything got a price, man. Everybody got a price. And, you know, business is business, you know.
But
it was interesting. It kind of came from left field. I didn't think that news was going to break.
Gina Buss gonna stick around, they said.
But yeah, like they're keeping Jenny as the governor. So, you know, I think it'll be all right, you know.
What does that do for LeBron then?
I have no idea. Like, I don't know, like, what LeBron. I thought that last year when he got to play with his boy, I thought that was going to be like the perfect send-off because LeBron knows when he has a championship team to play with. And at this point, if you're not playing for championships, then what you doing? You know what I mean? But he still plays at a high level. That is crazy. Like, he's still playing at a high level. So, like, I don't know. I mean, it's Bron's world. We just living in it, right? So he's going to do what he wants to do. So.
What about games? Are we going to game 7 or OKC go close it out?
I would love to see a game 7. I've been thoroughly enjoying this series because I'm a basketball purist. Like, I don't care about storylines. I don't care about all star power. I don't care about that. Like, just ball. Like, I like that. With that being said, I think OKC gonna pack them up. I think they're gonna pack them up in this next game, especially with Halliburton being hurt. I could be wrong because Indiana is such a feisty team, and they love when people say that they can't do something, you know. And so, like, I would love to see Game 7. I would love to be wrong, but I think OKC gonna go ahead and pack them up and send them to the crib.
All right, don't get caught off into the Halliburton herd and put all your mortgage money on OKC for Game 6. You know, this is how Vegas build casinos out there in Vegas, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was cool because you don't never get none of my money, so it's all good.
Yeah. But I would say it is in the best interest of the NBA for it to go 7. With new TV deals coming up next year, it would be in the best interest to go 7. And speaking of new TV deals next year, your thoughts on NBC paying Michael Jordan $40 million?
Yeah, but the thing about that TV money, man, that money's
already allocated for, isn't it?
Yeah. But
like,
yeah, NBC paying.
Do you really want to hear Michael Jordan
$40 million though? Just to
again, like, I mean, do you really want to hear what Michael Jordan has to say? Is he that much of an dynamic figure that you'd be like, oh, I wonder what Mike had to say? Like, have you ever found him entertaining outside of playing basketball? Have you ever found him entertaining when he speaks? No. So like, I'm not gonna tune in to see Mike.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, get out of here. Y'all
Well,
wasted your bread on.
they trying to save the fact that they lost TNT, and they trying to keep the NBA enthusiasts. Michael Jordan be better off being a golf analyst than he will an NBA analyst, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, and no disrespect to Mike, you know what I'm saying? He gonna be out there them big behind jeans he like to wear and them baggy pants. Like, don't nobody care what Mike got to say, man. Like, nah, y'all could have saved your bread on that one, man. Get some people that know basketball. You know what I mean?
Hey, Joe. Here's what NBC probably could have did, and they probably could have took up, or even ESPN. I think they could have. Now they could have took a playbook out of how Monday Night Football is. You have Monday Night Football, you have your commentators, but then you have the Eli and the Manning show, and you can either tune into. You watch the game, but you could tune into the to the Manning show and watch their commentary, or you could watch the regular commentary on the game itself. I think if they go back to NBC and the NBC of yesteryears of the late 80s, early 90s, brought the TNT team and then kind of did the same kind of setup, I just think maybe try it that way. And then to your point, EW, I don't, and not have Jordan, but use, maybe bought the TNT and bought Ernie, Kenny, and brought that team over and did it that way. Maybe you can gain some interest, but that's the problem now with how people consume information, even in watching the games. Some people don't want to hear your play-by-play people. You know what I mean? They they want to watch the game, but maybe they're entertained. To my example about watching the Mannings, I'd rather watch them than watch whoever you have on that particular night game. I don't like any of the commentators they have now. I wish they had kept Mark Jackson, Van Gundy, and I wish those guys were more of than what's old girl's name. I don't like their lineup as far as commentaries now since they've made all these changes.
All right, E-Dub, talk about the New York Knicks letting their coach go, and now they don't have a coach and don't have a plan, it seemed like. What were your thoughts on that when you saw that? I know you were. Whew.
I mean, the Knicks are always going to do Knicks stuff. And if you're a Knicks fan, you know exactly what that means. If you're not a Knicks fan, you know what that means. Like, the Knicks are always going to be the Knicks and do Knicks stuff. And I don't fault them for making the fire, to be honest with you, because they was probably going to fire him regardless. Because when you're not really held in the highest esteem with the guys up top, they're going to look for a reason to to fire you. And I always say, like, deserving to be fired and getting fired don't got nothing to do with it. Like, you got fired. That's just what it is. You would have thought that they may have had a better contingency plan if they wanted to get rid of your boy. But like, that's where it seems like they're getting egg in the face, because the contingency is making them look kind of silly. So I don't really fault them for firing old boy if that's not your guy. But now it's like you can't even get nobody to come in and interview for the spot. You know what I'm saying? So, Coach, you need to go ahead and send them your resume, man. They may give you a shot. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want me to coach the Knicks.
It's cold up there, man. So you got to bring a coat.
And New York has one thing that I would never be able to get by: rats. That's the end of that party right there.
I'm with you on that one, brother. I'm with you on that one.
All right, E-Dub, give me your top 5 prospect for the Hawks in the draft for next week.
Oh man, you talking for 13 or 22 or just like in general?
Just in general. And then we'll get into breaking down the 13 and
oh
22.
Man. So again, just a little perspective from this is a very good draft. Like, this is a very good draft class. It doesn't have a lot of star power, but I think in 3 to 4 years, when you look back on this draft, you're going to be like, oh man, you got a ton of like really good role players and just some really good. This draft is heavy with bigs. It's heavy with wings. It's kind of it's point guard kind of efficient. Not many, a lot of there's not a lot of point guards out here, but you got a lot of wings and a lot of bigs in this draft. There are several guys that I like there's a bunch of guys like that I like for the Hawks. If you look at a lot of guy be mocked like 8, you'll pull up another mock and he'll be mocked like 28. So can be drafted. So the grades aren't really that too much, not too far apart, because a lot of these guys have skills and everything. That's why they're a favor of moving up. One guy that I really do like out of all of these guys is Colin Murray Boyles. He's like a throwback kid. Think of like a Danny Fortson, he's just a tough kid. You know what I'm saying? I really like him. Of course, we talked a little bit about Kamen Maliwak out of Duke. Carter Bryant is a guy that I like. Derek Queen is a guy that I like. John Berger is a guy that I like. So those are kind of like just some names I can kind of just throw at you. But I think that if the Hawks are going to draft, I think whether at 13 or 22, I'm almost certain that one of those picks is going to be a big. I don't know if they're going to go big at 13 or if they're going to go big at 22, but I'm pretty sure that one of those picks is going to be a big.
Okay. Carter Bryant, the name rings. You like him over Kaman?
I would probably like Kaman a little bit better. I'm not even sure Kaman is going to be there at 13, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, I don't think it's gonna. I think you might have to move. If Kaman is your guy, you might have to like make a move or two, and which I'm not in favor of, because I think you can get a big just as good at 13 and 22. So, but yeah, Carter Bryant is a guy that I really like.
Does he bring defense to what you like to the Hawks?
Yeah, he's a two-way guy. Yeah, Carter Bryant, he's got a nice build. He's 6'8", 225, out of Arizona. He's a kid that can do a lot of things with the ball. And again, part of me liking Carter Bryant and understanding with all these guys are unfinished projects, right? So nobody's going to come in and be like, okay, you're going to be a rotational player. It's not going to happen. Chances are most of these guys are going to spend some time in College Park. Luckily for the Hawks have a good system of developing players. Look at all the guys that have come through College Park. You have the Johnson kid, Vic Ricci's come through there. Like all of the guys that have been developed, Kobe Buffkin, all of those guys that have been developed through College Park have developed into really good basketball players. So if you get a guy like a Carter Bryant or a Kamen Maliwak, like those guys are going to be developing that same system, and it's going to make them better. But you don't want to see them playing in year one. You don't want to see them playing a lot in year one. I don't, because Hawks are going to try to win. They're trying to win games.
Gotcha. All right, so we got Trey signing. You say Trey should sign back. When do we expect Jalen Johnson back? Any word on his progress?
Well, you talking when is he coming back? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Jalen Johnson. When should we see him?
Yeah, word on the street is, he should be ready by training camp. Everything. That's kind of what I hear. They haven't put out any statements or anything. I haven't really seen anything on the social. So, the closer we get to probably summer league, we'll kind of know a little bit more how he's doing and like if he's going to be ready to go. So Hopefully he'll be ready for training camp, because if the Hawks are serious this year, he's got to give me at least 70 games. Like, you got to give me 70 games, bro. Like, if this team wants to be taken seriously, you got to give me 70 this year.
Are you itching out to Vegas for Summer League this year?
I am not inching out to Vegas for Summer League. I will go out to Vegas in September, but that is to celebrate my lovely wife and my anniversary, but that is not for Summer League. So I will be out there for a different reason.
All right, cool. Quinn Snyder and his staff, are we feeling safe? Are we feeling hot seat-ish, or are you feeling safe going into the season with the front office and Quinn Snyder? Are they on the same page?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, because like typically when a new guy comes in, he wants his people, right? And the Hawks are doing this kind of backward. Like they're hiring the staff, and then they say they're going to bring in a guy who's going to be like ahead of everything. So I don't know. Does he come in here and want his own guy? Like, so a lot of that is to be determined. This current, well, let me say this. This current ownership really likes Snyder. So I'll say that. The ownership likes Snyder, because typically when you let a GM go, you let the coach go as well, right? So I've heard from rumblings that the ownership really is big fans of Snyder. So if the ownership got your back, then that's a good thing. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but this is going to be a very critical year for Snyder. Play-in is not going to be acceptable. You know what I'm saying? So if they struggle out the gate, regardless of injury, regardless of the excuse, if they come out the gate and they sputter, they don't get into a good playoff seeding, that seat going to get hot real quick.
Yeah, especially with the East being wide open again.
Wide open.
How did you like the Desmond Bane trade?
I loved it for Orlando. Yeah, you gave up the picks, but like in this league, man, your window's small. Your window is small, and they took a shot. I'm a big proponent of taking a shot. Take a shot. The worst you can do is miss, right? The worst you can do is miss. They know they got a small window. That window's small for everybody. They needed 3-point shooting, and they got a guy that can shoot the blood out the ball, and he can defend. They still got some point guard issues. Going forward, they're going to have some issues filling out the rest of that roster from a money standpoint, because I think they're at that first apron. So that's more of a long-term issue when you want to pay your guys. But if you can lower Banchero's usage rate, if you can lower the Wagner twins, if you can keep them healthy and you got a guy like Bane, like that might be a top 5 team in the East. Easy, just that quick. They'll worry about the picks later.
I mean, Orlando was good this year without all the injuries.
Absolutely. Like, that is a tough team. Like, and their teams take on the personality of their coach. And Mosley, he's going to have them boys rocking and rolling. Like, you knew, regardless of who was playing, you was going to be in for a fight. Every time they play the Hawks, it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. And even the guys who are at the end of the roster, like 9, 10, 11, they come in and they're going to be fouling. They're going to be playing hard, because that's the mentality. And like, they can't shoot to save their life. But, now they got a little bit of shooting. Let's say if they pick up another free agent that can shoot a little bit, they might be cooking with grease.
All right, Eda, when is so we got the draft. Is it next Wednesday?
Yeah, it's I believe it's next Wednesday. You have to Google me on that. I'm not sure.
It's the 25th. The 25th.
Yeah, that's next Wednesday. So what are your plans for the draft? You having a draft party? You going down to
I'm not into the draft like that. I'll probably be at the Hawks facility. I usually go there every year to cover the draft from the facility. So we'll be waiting to see what trades go down, what the Hawks do. And then after that, the GM, or if there's a VP of operation, he'll come out. They usually have the guy. They usually have some guy in New York with the guys. And so we'll probably have a brief talk with whoever they draft over Zoom. And that's usually how I do the draft every year.
All right. Well, if I'll stay in touch with you because we'll be on the air, and if anything break, then feel free to jump on in and give us some breaking news. How about that?
Yeah, man, no doubt, man, no doubt. You know.
All right. With that being said, man, go ahead and let everybody know when the next Hawks Beat off-season podcast is coming out and where they can find you on social media.
Hawks Beat on every single social media platform that you could think of. That's where we at. We just released a draft special with our guy David Lee, D Lee for 3. So that is still relevant. I'm probably gonna do another draft show probably tomorrow, just kind of looking at some of these prospects. I'm not gonna go too deep because I'm gonna keep it real. Like I don't watch these guys all year, and so my draft stuff is very surface. It's very surface because like I don't pretend like, yeah, man, this guy, that's just not me. But I do got some draft coverage for my folks, and Hawks Beat, I'm on all streaming platforms, and yeah, man, finishing up year 11 covering the Hawks.
Good deal, man. We sure appreciate it. Thanks for the last minute jump on, and man, hopefully we'll talk to you next week with some good news, bro.
As always a pleasure, fellas. Brother Brown, Coach HL.
Yes, sir. Y'all, saying y'all, you be good, E.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. That's the Hawks Beat. That's the Hawks Beat. That is the Hawks Report with my main man E-Dub covering for the 11th season in a row. Anything that stood out to you, Coach or Asa, that he talked about, that he said?
Hey, he taught me back. He taught me back onto the ship. You know what I mean? I was ready to jump off.
you back on Trey. You back on the Trey Young ship, huh?
Yeah, I got back off the railing. So I'm back. I'm back sitting on the pier. You know what I mean? So, but nah, it will be interesting to see. I think the one thing that caught my attention was he said the first half of next year, the beginning of next year, how they start depends on how hot that seat gets for Dan, for Quinn. So because you can't justify paying. If you're going to wind up giving a long-term extension to Trey, you want to be able to justify that by at least making the playoffs, not the play-in. You get what I'm saying? So it'll be important to get to a 6th seed, which is the playoff, and not be sitting there it'd be better to get to the 5, but if you can get to the 6th, you're in the playoff and not sitting there at the 7, 8, or 9, having to play those extra games for a play-in. So, and then again, the East this year is going to be, as of right now, is going to be wide open. That's because you're assuming Milwaukee's going to lose Giannis. Boston will not have Tatum, even though I think sneakily not having Tatum will do Boston some good, but that's probably a different topic. Boston not having Tatum, Milwaukee going through a transition, probably not having Giannis, and probably not having not having a couple of fellas. And then who else? The only people you got to worry about is the Knicks and Indiana. Still left to see what Orlando might do. So the East is wide open. So it should be, if you make some solid decisions here, you should be able to at least get to a 6th seed this year. So.
Yeah, I agree. All right. I guess Coach go jump back on. I'll wait till we get going. Let's see. We'll go jump into our roundtable discussion here. All right, so now we can jump back on the finals. Tyrese Halliburton, 4 points. Are we blaming all that on his calf, or did he just had a bad game?
Nah, I just think he just had a bad game, and he had a bad game point scoring. But I don't think the calf issue played a part in him having a bad game. He was having a bad game already. And he's a true point guard, right? In the mindset of he wants to get the table set for everybody else. Even though I think he needs to be more selfish, but that's just not who he is. You know what it reminds me of? When I say reminds me of, I'm talking about mindset, HO, just mindset, not how he plays. He reminds me of Jason Kidd. You know, Jason Kidd would be 9-9-9, but he controlled the game. You know, he set everybody up, especially when he was in New Jersey. Whereas you probably, you know, if you got 16 out of Jason Kidd, you'd be like, oh man, we definitely should win this game because I know I'm gonna still get my 9 assists and 9 rebounds. I think he's like that, but just in the opposite. Like, you know, he's gonna give you 10 and 12, but we need you to give us 20 plus. But that's just not his mindset. His mindset is more of a true point guard from back in the day. And so I don't know. That's something that they're going to have to work on with him into the offseason, making him more of trying to get him to be more score first, more aggressive. Yeah, more aggressive. And maybe not doing the regular season, but when you get to the postseason, you're going to need to be more aggressive. All
right, Coach, we talk about Tyrese Halliburton. Did he have a bad game, or are you blaming the calf injury in Game 5?
That's on his coach.
It's on his coach.
Carlisle. You got McConnell. Yeah, you got McConnell and those guys. If you see hurt and you still got 2 games left, or potential 2 games left, you get him out of there. Because you run and trying to win this game, he's not 100%. Now you don't know if you're going to have him. So he said you're going to play no matter what. I'm like, yeah, you say that, Mr. Halliburton, but can't mess with them legs, man. That leg don't cooperate. You ain't got nothing to work with.
How many turnovers did he? He had more turnovers than points, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he only had 4 points, so everything in the stat sheet was going to be more than what he did.
All right.
He didn't have a field goal. He went 0 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, we got
4
a question
points.
Just popped on the screen here. Who is the best current NBA player?
Best?
Cute. Joker in Denver.
You say Joker?
Yeah.
I say between Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards. Coach, who you say?
Doggone Joker, boy. Joker's an amazing person. He can't jump over a flat quarter, but he just managed to play some of the best ball in the NBA.
He can't jump over a quarter, Coach.
He don't look like a flat quarter. I'm talking about a quarter laying on the ground.
Because Ant-Man the best player in the NBA right now.
He's still.
So I'm with you.
I could go with Ant-Man, but you know, Ant-Man, he angry. He don't want to be the best. He don't want to be nothing in the NBA. He want to just play. I'm like, you better be something, because your team ain't winning, dog. And they depending on you. HO, on a side note, and this has nothing to do with anything, Can anybody stop right now? Can anybody stop Ronald Acuna?
That is tough. Right now, he should probably be the leading vote getter for outfielders in the All-Star game.
He hit another home run tonight.
Yeah.
That is club in the ball.
You know, yeah, I was just about to do ballers and busters, but I guess I skipped it when I went straight to the all right, so I think somebody agreed with you, Coach. Exactly what you said, right?
I mean, you can look at him. He does not look like your typical NBA player. But once the ball go up in there and the game start, he is murdering people. Passes, assists, rebounds, shots.
Coach, that's the reason why I say that's the reason why I say Durant should go there.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Like I said, I forgot about Westbrook being there, but if Westbrook leave, that's where Durant should go. Durant goes there. You can't double nobody for Denver. Because then what are you going to do? You're going to leave. You got to leave Yoke one-on-one. If you come down to get to him, he's going to find the open man. Murray going to hit that jumper or swing it. You're going to get the KD. He going to hit that jumper. If you can somehow get Joke out the lane, it's still going to be a mismatch because he can still move that thing around to the open guy. I think if this is about a fit for KD and about possibly trying to win another one,
yeah,
that's where he would need to go. To me, is Denver, and if I'm Denver, I want KD because I got to maximize. For me, if I got the top 5 best player in the world, right? So you just asked HO who's the best, and everybody, people said who they thought. And there's an argument for everybody who everybody just said. SGA, Ant-Man, Jokic. You know what I mean?
Jokic.
Tatum. You said Tatum. We missing one more. Luka. If I got one of those guys on my team, and they're in their prime, I gotta maximize that longevity. I gotta maximize that as much as I can. So
there's your question on the screen there, Ace.
Oh, you can let Russell walk. Michael Porter Jr. can go somewhere. I'll give you the other white boy. I know Michael Porter Jr. ain't white, but I give Brown away. Shoot, they got some pieces to give away.
I still think Denver messed up when they let KCP go.
And listen, you can and believe it or not,
him and Brown.
Him and the other Brown. Me and Don called the 2 Browns. You had the Hennessy, you had the white Hennessy and the Hennessy. They let the Hennessy go and kept the white Hennessy. But yeah, KCP. So again, but if I get Durant with his shooting, I just got 2 players. To me, getting Durant, I got 2 players back. I got the mismatch that Michael Porter Jr. should have been, and I got the scoring that KCP was as well. You know what I mean? So, and then other thing is too, the head coach, even though he's young, Adelman's son, he didn't do as bad as I thought he would with just 2 weeks to get ready for the playoffs. He took Oklahoma City to 7 games. So
Yeah, Dad said he ain't heard one name that will make him give up KD.
Phoenix and some picks. Phoenix doesn't have any picks, Dez. No picks. Like no picks to 2030. Next 5 years.
All right, I skipped over some. Emmett said, "Who's the best all time?" My bad. I thought you said who's best well, he did say today, but now he's asking all time best. My
All
bad.
time NBA best.
Yeah.
I mean, we go, man. That's a whole nother show, HO.
Oh, I know. So we gonna hold that one off to next week. Then. We 20 minutes away from ending the show. So, and Coach got to get his fun bag in, and then we go. Actually, let's do a real quick ballers and busters and see what we got real quick before we jump into the fun bag. Then I got an NBA question of the week as well. So my baller this week, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump it off. My baller this week is the no-hitter that my man threw for Arkansas. Gabe. What's his name? Gabe somebody.
I think it was Whisk or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, but he was throwing that. He was dealing.
19 strikeouts.
He was dealing, boy.
Yeah, but that's my baller this week. The guy who I know his first name is Gabe.
So you asked earlier, HO, what's the hardest thing to do in a closeout game or whatever? That
I didn't
I
did.
Yeah, so that was gonna be my, like, in NHL getting a hat trick, in baseball throwing a no hitter.
Yeah.
In the NBA having
Gabe Woods. Yeah, so which one? So the hat trick, the no hitter, or what you were gonna say for basketball?
A triple double, like a high triple double, or in this case, scoring 40 points. But a high triple double. I would say a triple double if you're the point guard. So obviously the ball's in your hand all the time. But in order to go out there and get everybody in your your team involved in a pressurized game.
Yeah, put your ballers in the chat so I can read them out. Cuz said baller for the Florida Marlins. I mean, Florida Panthers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Florida Marlins. Nah, no way, no how.
Yeah.
Ace, give me your baller.
Oh, the Florida Panthers. My man who just had the four. I got two really. Him and Jason Williams. He had 40 points. Jalen Williams. He had 40 points in game 5, and then the striker for the Panthers scoring 4 goals in a closeout game. Even though one of them, I mean, them last two, they were empty netters. But
yeah.
But I ain't gonna take nothing. He scored the first 2 that
Sam
put him
Reinhart.
up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he scored the first 2 that
Sam
put him
Reinhart.
up. So
yep. Coach, give me your baller.
Lenora Sellers for South Carolina, who decided to take loyalty above money, and somebody offered $8 million to go to another school, and he was like, "No, I'm in South Carolina. I'm here. We got some things working here." And he turned it down, and he said, "I'm playing for South Carolina. I'm making decent money." So he decided
the quarterback. Yeah.
He said, "No, sir. I'm good. Y'all can spend that money on something else."
All right, good. The bust of the week. I said the Braves go always get a bust. The Braves almost got one last night until Marcell Ozuna came through in the clutch and hit a game-winning. A game-time double, cleared the bases. I was just about to put the Braves on my buster list again.
Yeah.
But I took them off, and I decided to go outside of the sports world and go into the guy who's suing Tyler Perry for $206 million.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
He gonna get about $100 million though.
But my thing is, okay, why now? Why now? Why weren't you so furious when it was happening to you? And now you wait, and now you coming out, now you all of a sudden you want $260 million.
Yeah. Like whatever.
Yeah, so Derek Dixon or whatever his name, you my buster for the week. All right, Ace, what you got?
I got 2 busters for the week, and they on the same team. The goalies for Montreal.
You mean Edmonton?
I mean Edmonton. I don't know why I keep it for Edmonton. Thank you. For the Oilers, how y'all give up 5 goals every game? In the Stanley Cup, and then Connor McDavid. I mean, come on, man! You supposed to be the best. You supposed to be the best dude. You supposed to be the best dude in NHL, and in a closeout game, you come out. You did worse than Halliburton did in his game. At least Halliburton got one more game to try to make up for it. I mean, you know what I mean? Come on, and don't nobody talk about Halliburton as him being the all-time player in the NBA. But we talk about Connor McDavid like, he's better than Ovechkin. He's better than Gretzky. Like, he's supposed to be that dude. You got to show up. You got to show up in a closeout game. No goals. Only got 2 shots on it. Only tried 2 shots on goal. Just, you know what I mean.
Boy, that was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Porous. You got, we gonna sing his praises. You gotta take this smoke too.
Mm-hmm. All right, Coach. Who's your buster? And you notice I said busters.
Well, this one's gonna shock everybody. Oh, it might not shock them. My baller and buster is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, you have so much goodwill going through in Cleveland right now. They like you. I mean, the fans like you and everything. Why are you gonna drive 101 in a 60-mile-per-hour zone? I'm like, I know that ain't a lot and that ain't much, but still, you know it's gonna be made news all over the place. They finna ride you now. 101 and a 60. Like, where you got to go?
Yeah.
Where were you in a hurry to get to? And I'm like, you got to represent. With great power comes great responsibility. As simple as that. And you did not live up to that.
That's the Spider-Man. We hear you, Coach.
Yep. Terrible, man. That was terrible. I was like, God, dog, Shedeur.
Yeah, I know you. So while we're speaking of Shedeur, can we all say a quick prayer for Dion and hope everything is all right with him as he continues to not show up for camp or whatever the case may be?
Man, I hope it's like you say. I hope it's nothing too serious. But in my short time on God's green earth, whenever they start cutting parts of your body off, that's never a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I don't think people realize what they took like 3 of his toes off
Two.
a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, to your point, wishing him the best or whatever, but I just feel like whenever just like I said, my short time on God's green earth, whenever I've seen people lose limbs because that was the last choice that the medical physicians said that they had to do. It just don't
All right, the NBA question of the day. What is your definition of a superstar? Define a superstar for sports, whether it be the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, or hockey. What is your definition of a superstar?
Somebody who you'll pay all kind of money to see, and who's gonna deliver.
What does that mean, Coach? Pay all kind of money to see.
You're gonna pay no matter what the money is for the ticket. You're gonna pay it to see him because he's box office. He's why you came to the game, or she is why you came to the game. So you're gonna pay that money, and usually superstars deliver out there on the field or the court or wherever they are, they deliver. So
okay,
and they're gonna be a big part of the game.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of you, Coach, with that. I like that. So you can have a star, HO, for a season. Superstars do that over a period of time, longevity. So I'm gonna use when we get into the football season, do you consider Barkley a star? And now I say Barkley, I'm talking about Saquon. Do you consider him a star or a superstar? And I think most people probably would say he's a superstar, but to like I said, piggyback off a Coach, I need to see him. I don't need to see him do 2,000 yards this year again, but I need to see him eclipse 1,000 yards. I need to see him get to 1,100, 1,200, and then now I can be like, he is definitely a superstar because he did it in New York, and then now he's done it his first 2 years in Philadelphia, and he has a ring. So I think you can be a star, but to become that superstar, you got to consistently do it year in, year out.
Yep.
I think Magic Johnson said it the best. He said basically what Coach said, but he said that when you can sell the building out on the road, easy to do it at home, but can you sell it out on the road? Can you go on the road and sell the building out? Can you do what Mighty Moore did on Friday nights at Gwinnett Arena? Had the traffic backed up from Duluth all the way down to Gwinnett Mall.
Yeah.
Can you sell the building out on the road? Not at your home place, but on the road. Can you do that? And if you can do that, you already know that they got the talent to do it. Okay, let me see. Let me put up what Cubs got up there. The person that leads their team during regular season then takes it to another level during the postseason and deliver. Okay. That's all we got on the that's all the definitions that we have. Any more add?
Nah, I think we covered it.
All right. Well, with that being said, we went to Hey, SRT Fun Bag. Let me give a round of applause for that. All right, fellas, y'all ready for this one?
Yes,
Of course,
sir.
y'all are.
Yes,
All right, here we
sir.
go. First question. In your dream house, what is a must-have? All right, Ace, we're gonna start with you.
Ooh,
What is a must-have in your dream house?
a finished basement, man cave.
Okay. A man after my own heart. All right, Coach, what's your answer?
Don't have to go any further than that. Just want a man cave with big TV. We got my PlayStation in the cut. Got all kind of stuff down there. A sound system, studio. Movie chairs and everything. So when
There
the
you go.
game come on, honey, child, honey, darling, sweetheart, you know where to find me. You ain't got to look. You ain't got to.
Now,
Don't
do you
be
have a
trying to ask
TV?
me to do it.
Do you have a TV? Do you have a projector?
Big. Ooh, that's kind of tough. I might have to go with the projector, that big one, and put up there. Let the game be in.
You don't
all
need no
around.
TV for that.
Oh yeah,
You
gotta have.
just flash it on the wall and it comes up.
Yep, gotta have my big refrigerator too. Where I ain't got to go back upstairs for nothing.
All
We
right,
covered
fellas,
all the way down to this end.
I think we all on the same page. The man cave is a must with the bar and the pool table, and the bar chairs and everything with the movie theater and for me the cigar smoke room. Of course. All right, question number 2. If you had to go on a fast with no meat for 60 days, name me 2 fruits and 2 vegetables that you would eat.
Oh, shit.
First
of all, you got to come get me. 60
There you go,
days.
Dad. Man cave, pool, and theater room. I know Dad meant pool table. But all right, Coach, what you got? What's your 2 fruits, 2 vegetables?
60 days? God damn.
Yeah.
I have watermelon and strawberries. No, watermelon and pineapple.
Watermelon and
then
pineapple. Okay.
My vegetables will be green peas and broccoli.
Okay, Coach, eating a little healthy. All right, Asa, what you got?
my 2 fruits would be oranges and grapes, or oranges and blueberries. And then my vegetables, I don't know if it's really a vegetable, but I would do sweet potatoes. And if I can get a mixed vegetable, I know that's a mixed vegetable bag. Those would be the things that I would do.
All right.
All right, my fruits would be tangerines and bananas. And fruit would be spinach and green beans.
No. I forgot about spinach. God damn.
Okay, so Miss Montgomery is in there. She said apple, bananas, green beans, and broccoli. All right now.
All right.
Watermelons and grapes. The 2 fruits, oranges and watermelon. Broccoli and cabbage. That was cuz said broccoli and cabbage.
There you go, Zavada. Cabbage. Oh man, I be eating that up. Ooh.
Coach, do you eat cabbage soup?
Yeah, man. I done had fried cabbage before. That made me change my life. It's
Okay.
fried cabbage.
I see everybody keeping their hydration up with the watermelon or the cabbage. All those vegetables got high water intake.
We got some old healthy resident folks in there. So
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Coach, you're gonna love this question. I got this question for you. When you hear the phrase old school music, what is the first song that you come to your mind?
Easily.
Still got them in grapes and oranges, Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Okay. I don't know about the Brussels sprouts and broccoli, but okay. I can't.
Anything old school with Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Elements. As long as it's the Elements, I know we get old school then.
So September.
Yes, sir. September song, Reasons. Love on Holiday.
I say what song comes to mind, not the artist, not the.
Oh, Love's Holiday.
Love's Holiday. All right. Blissful gave me Marvin Gaye. So I'm gonna assume you mean let's stay together. Oh, LTD. That is a song. All right, Ace, give me some. Give me some, Ace. I know you got some.
Somebody just took it from me. When I hear LTD, yeah. We in there. Love.
Yeah. I'm gonna have everybody going. I'm gonna have everybody going to their iTunes tonight when they get out the show.
I get that LTD. We in there.
Oh, they jumping in. Ace, I think they like the way you sing. Yeah, I like Love. But Forever Mine by the OJs.
Ooh.
Forever Mine by the OJs and The Message by Furious 5 and Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah,
it's like a drummer sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next question. Which is more important, losing fat or losing weight? Losing body fat or losing weight?
So which is more important?
Which is more important, losing body fat or losing weight?
Body fat.
I think it depends on how big you are. Okay. Like I don't need to lose any more. I don't need to lose any more weight. Maybe I need to lose some inches in some places, but I don't. You know what I mean? I think if you're a big person, don't be trying to get skinny. You know what I mean? So you need to lose the extra.
Yeah, the body fat makes your clothes fit better.
Mm-hmm.
The weight just make the scale looks good for you. So, all right, everybody's saying body fat. So I'm with the body fat too.
And be happy with what you are though. Let's start there first though. You know what I mean?
My favorite question of the fun bag for this week is, if you come into any kind of money, you say you want to go broke, you say you want to go just blow it all, but let's be honest, you will splurge. And what would you splurge on if you come into any kind of money? What are you going to splurge on?
The man cave.
The man cave.
Which you got like see the house in the man cave.
The house in the man cave. Okay.
I don't have to come outside. I'm good.
I know you go pay some bills off and things of that nature, but what are you gonna actually splurge on that you're gonna just go all the way ham on?
What was that? What was that movie? What was that movie in Ocean? Was it Ocean 12? When my man was a recluse, he bought everything and and then shut himself inside, that would be me. I would take care of everything in the house, in the man cave, and I'll come outside once a week.
Yeah. So
might not do that. I'll be Instacart, and I just come to the door, get the food, and go back inside.
Dad said extend the vacation trip
bring
to
the
the
truck.
motherland. I can get with that, Dad. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody
I ain't going nowhere overseas.
Hey, with the theater room.
There he goes, Zavada. That's right. The house man cave with theater room. Boy,
Yeah,
during
I'm with you,
football
Coach.
season, ain't no way you.
I'm with you, Coach. We gotta wait three more years before we go out of the country. They may not be able to get back in.
That's what I'm saying. They'll try to keep you over there. I ain't taking no chances.
I got two. I got the man cave in my cigar collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The man cave in the cigar collection. Yes, sir. Let's get it. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you already know when you hear that, the greatest beat of all time, created by Joshua McLaren. Yes, sir. It is, as you know it, the intro and the outro of Sports Roundtable. And if you're hearing it right now, you know it's the outro. So I want to say thanks again for Asa and Coach coming through, stopping through and handling business. Appreciate E-Dub for coming through, man, and giving us a little update on what the Hawks might do, what they could do. And hopefully we'll have a Sudan 7-2 center in the Hawks uniform come next week. And appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening. Once again, shout out to Jackie Renee for her birthday. And shout out for all the new people, Yolanda and all of the regular tenants. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. You want to keep SRT going and flowing. All right, Ace, so what you got?
Hey, always one time to everybody at SRT, the SRT family, one time to you, HO, one time to you as well, Coach. Always have a good time when I come on. You're going to start listening to me a little bit, Coach. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Trying to win you over on a couple of things before football season come anyway. And then one time to my other half, the D and DNA. Check us out every Monday, 7 to 9. Just go to DNASportsTalk.com and you can find us on all social media and the links to the show.
Coach.
Yeah, I give props to everybody. Ho, and Asa. Give props out to my friend, the Shank. Shank got to come out a lot today, so he's calm right now. But he's gonna sit down. Everybody that showed up today, all you people that watching the show, if y'all got any watermelon, bring it. I'll be glad to eat it. Everybody that came on, we good. When you get that audience, you're gonna have fun. So shout out to my boys from the Red and Red Sports Show. Monday on Saturdays from 11 until the show go off or we get tired. We had the pleasure of having the great HO on this week. And HO started some trouble. I'm going to have to call him out on it. I ain't going to do it. We good.
Yeah, man. I had a good time on the show too, man. So it's been good. It's been great. And hey, listen, I hope y'all enjoy your off day tomorrow. Tomorrow, don't forget, it's Juneteenth.
Oh, yes.
Make sure you represent and go outside and get some of that vitamin D. Make sure your melanin is restored. How about that? With that being said, this is your man, H.O. for Asa, for Hancock, for Coach, for D. Will, to everybody who's tuning in. R.I.P. Monk. RIPDC. This is the SRT Sports Roundtable, and we love you. And make sure you tune in each and every week, Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you click on that YouTube page, like and subscribe, and share. SRT Sports Talk Radio 2705. Make sure you do that for me. This is Sports Roundtable. We're going to holler at y'all next week. Peace.